Welcome to the cutest nap zone, where tiny babies rest peacefully and kittens randomly decide they belong there. Get ready for cozy cuddles, funny moments, and pure calm. The kitten climbed in, curled up, and fell asleep like, "Cool, I'll just borrow your face for warmth, use it as my personal heater, and pretend this was the plan all along." The kitten climbed on the baby's face, got uncomfortable, casually shifted to the other side, and fell asleep like, "Ah yes, this side has better heating." The kitten squeezed in under the baby's chin, locked itself into position, and fell asleep like, "Great, I found the softest neck pillow and I'm not moving." The kitten climbed onto the baby's back, used it like a deluxe mattress, and fell asleep instantly like, "Yes, this is clearly my sleeping spot now." The kitten climbed up behind the baby's head, gently rested its chin there, and fell asleep like, "Perfect, I've claimed the neck support section." The kitten casually parked itself on the baby's shoulder, gave a few experimental nibbles, and settled in like, "Yep, this spot is approved for long-term use." The kitten curled up against the baby, tucked its paws in neatly, and fell asleep like, "Perfect, warm, soft, and absolutely zero reasons to move now." The kitten casually parked itself on the baby's leg, started adjusting like it's finding the perfect seat, and then stayed there like, "Yep, this is my spot now." The kitten pressed its face right into the baby's cheek, sighed like it finally found peace, and passed out completely clearly, convinced this cheek was designed just for naps. The kitten gently pressed its tiny face into the baby's cheek, paused for a second, then fell asleep like, "Yep, this cheek has the perfect balance of warmth and softness." The kitten settled right against the baby's mouth, used the shirt button as a pillow, and fell asleep like, "This spot has warmth, snacks nearby, and zero reasons to relocate." The kitten used the baby's head as a pillow, adjusted its position like a pro, and fell asleep instantly, clearly convinced this tiny head was designed for premium naps. The kitten stretched out across the baby, rested one paw like it owned the place, and stayed there like, "This is my couch now. Please do not disturb."
They're both out cold.
The kitten wrapped both paws around the baby's arm, squeezed in tight, and fell asleep like, "Great, I've secured my cuddle handle, and I'm not letting go." The kitten pressed its whole body against the baby's face, hugged the cheek tightly, and stayed there like, "Relax, this is a cuddle, not an invasion."
Sweet dreams, babies.
The kitten suddenly went full chaos mode, rolling all over the baby's chest like a fuzzy tornado, completely convinced this tiny human is the world's best wrestling mat. The kitten grabbed the blanket, started pulling with full focus, and looked at the baby like, "Hold on, I'm fixing this nap situation whether you asked or not."
Sweetest thing ever.
The kitten parked
Look at
itself
that,
on the
sweetheart.
baby's back, leaned in close to
Your little
inspect the
guardian's
ear,
not letting
and
go.
stayed
It's
there
keeping you
like,
safe.
"Interesting, I'll supervise from here for a
You two are
while."
melting my heart.
The kitten popped its head out from under the blanket, stared around like it just woke up late for work, and quietly accepted that the baby is now its permanent roommate. The kitten wrapped one paw around the baby like a tiny bodyguard, stared straight at the camera, and silently warned everyone, "Relax, this human is under my protection." The kitten pressed itself against the baby's cheek, peeked around like it was checking the surroundings, and stayed there thinking, "Yep, this face makes a perfect side pillow." The kitten planted itself on the baby's chest, looked around alert and serious, and stayed there like, "Relax everyone, this tiny human is under full-time security now." The kitten wrapped one arm around the baby, pressed its face in close, and fell asleep like, "All right, cuddle position locked, no movements allowed till morning." The kitten gently rubbed its nose against the baby's nose, and somehow they both fell asleep mid-boop, like this tiny nose-to-nose meeting officially ended in a nap. The kitten gently rested its head against the baby's ear, stared around like it was on guard duty, and stayed there thinking, "Quiet zone secured, everyone sleep safely." The kitten slowly crawled across the blanket, stopped to inspect the baby, and moved carefully like, "Okay, quiet steps only, this tiny human is in sleep mode." The kitten leaned in first for a careful sniff, paused like it was gathering information, then turned away as if saying, "Okay, baby verified, nothing suspicious here." The baby slowly raised a hand like an invitation, and the kitten stared back seriously, debating whether this tiny human was offering friendship or just asking for inspection. The kitten wrapped itself around the baby's face, pressed in close and fell asleep like, perfect, found the warmest cheek on the planet and I'm not letting go. The kitten tucked itself against the baby's cheek, sighed in pure comfort, and fell asleep like, yes, this face is officially my pillow for the rest of the nap. The kitten pressed its tiny face against the baby's cheek, wrapped an arm around it, and fell asleep like, mission complete, I found the softest, warmest pillow ever. The kitten gently draped itself over the baby's head, placed one paw like a bookmark, and fell asleep, convinced this forehead was the most comfortable nap spot available. The kitten gently placed one paw on the baby's head like a sleepy supervisor, settled in close, and fell asleep thinking, everything is under control here. The kitten chose the baby's arm as a deluxe pillow, wrapped tiny paws around it, and drifted off like, perfect, warm, steady, and absolutely not moving. The baby drifted off peacefully, and the kitten followed seconds later, settling in close like, all right, synchronized nap achieved. Nobody wake us up now. The baby stayed completely asleep while the kitten curled up by the arm, tucked its head in, and decided, yep, this spot is warm, quiet, and absolutely perfect for a long nap. The kitten curled itself right up on the baby's cheek, tucked in one tiny paw, and fell asleep like, yep, this face is officially my personal pillow now. The kitten gently grabbed the baby's tiny hand, gave it a few sleepy squeezes, and passed out like, perfect, I've secured my favorite comfort item for this nap. The kitten stretched across the baby's shoulder, hugged in tight, and fell asleep like, great, I found the warmest spot and I'm officially staying right here. The baby drifted off peacefully, and the cat stretched out beside them like a full-grown nap expert, thinking, finally, someone who understands serious sleeping. The kitten suddenly woke up, lifted its head slowly, and looked straight at the camera like, what happened? How long was I asleep? And why is this human still here? The kitten stretched one tiny arm around the baby's neck, pressed its face in close, and fell asleep like, good, cuddle secured, nobody is escaping this nap now. The kitten curled itself into a perfect circle right beside the baby, gently holding a tiny hand, and fell asleep like, yes, this is my comfort spot and I'm not moving. The baby stayed completely asleep while the kitten tucked itself under the chin, snuggled in tight, and drifted off like perfect, warm, quiet, and absolutely zero reason to move. The kitten stretched out across the baby like it booked first-class seating, rested one paw on the buttons, and fell asleep thinking, perfect, stable, warm, and not moving. The baby started smiling,
Hi there,
and the kitten stayed asleep on top like nothing changed,
like your
fully
furry
convinced
blanket?
this happy human is just a very comfortable mattress with bonus giggles.
Purrs and little giggles.
The kitten stretched across the baby's chest, pressed its face in close, and fell asleep like it just discovered the most peaceful place it has ever known. The kitten gently hugged the baby's tiny hand, rested its head there, and drifted off peacefully, as if this small fist suddenly became the safest and coziest place in the world. The baby slept peacefully while the kitten tiptoed closer from behind, paused to inspect the situation, and seemed to think, interesting, I've discovered a very quiet, very tiny mystery. The baby lay there quietly while the kitten tucked its head under the chin, squeezed in close, and treated this moment like a perfectly timed cuddle break during a very busy nap. Thanks for watching this heart-melting compilation of babies and kittens sharing the coziest moments. If this video made you smile, don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back for more cute and funny moments.